We promised you the best badminton videos on all of the internet, and we are delivering just that. So we flew all the way from Vancouver to Dubai, here with Matthias Bo, badminton legend, to create this masterclass series of educational badminton videos for you guys that's gonna completely change your life. This video, what we're gonna be doing is the secret to men's doubles attacking. So we're gonna break it down into 4 major situations. There's the around the head, there's the forehand, there's the middle, and then there's the midcourt. And the different shots that you can play and variations that you'll do in these situations that will cover both attacking and rotation.
Correct.
Okay, let's start with the overhead.
This is a classic situation where you have to imagine that we have the attack here. So there will be a lift in my round the head situation here. I would do like scissor movement in my legs. What often happens is that people hit it a little bit too hard here, which means that they're losing their balance and come in and play the next shot with the backhand. Now that is mistake number 1, because if I'm up in a situation where I play with my backhand from here, it's not dangerous. From here I can only block, maybe do like a push, which means that the opponents can counter.
Right.
What I want to show, we can actually trap them into that flat one, where we can come in and try and rotate and execute on that one. So it looks like this without any shuttle. I'll do the round the head situation. Instead of coming in like this, I will change my position and I come in like this. Because from here, I can come in with the attack and then push forward, while Aylex can come out and rotate and cover the rest of the court.
Yes. Okay, so let's actually demo this. So first, let's show them what poor attacking looks like in the overhead, right?
This is normally the mistake.
I'm pretty sure we all know that it's good to be in this position.
Right.
But how do we get into that position?
So what I like to do from this side here is doing a little bit of slice on the first one. So it looks like I'm gonna hit it hard, but instead of hitting it hard, I'm gonna slice a little bit so the shot actually becomes slow. Because if it looks like that I'm really a threat, then my opponents often will go a little backwards in the defense. Then there will be a soft one coming in front, which they are not like in 100% balance for doing. It gives me more time to rotate and come forward.
This is actually genius. No one has actually told me this before. Like slowing down your shot so they can't lift it all the way.
Slowing it down so you have more time.
Yeah. Can I try this?
Yes,
Cool.
Sure. Yeah. Nice. Yes, nice.
That was pretty good. Most importantly, what we learned here is number 1, varying up your shots so that it lets you get to that second shot, and also how you position. Now, moving to the other side is our forehand side. How is that different from the overhead?
Biggest difference is that you don't rotate, you don't have that scissor movement, as it's called in your legs. You are more like just capturing it early.
Okay.
So every time you want to hit from your forehand side, the most important thing is that you try and catch the shuttle as early as possible, meaning a little bit in front of your head.
Okay.
You don't want to go too much behind, because what happens is that you cannot create as much power from behind. Plus the opponents, they have more time. It makes sense, like if I hit it here, they would have more time than if I hit it here.
Yeah.
And if I hit it in front of my body, I can also use the fingers and my wrist to get the angles.
Okay, let's show what it looks like.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What is the main difference between overhead and forehand?
Ideas are the same. I would say main difference is the footwork. We don't rotate here. We jump out like and land on the playing leg. And then from there, again, I want to see if I can come forward and use my body to keep like a threat to the opponents.
It seems like on the forehand, we have to hit it in front of us. Because if we hit it behind us, it's impossible to come forward.
Right.
But it seems to be a little bit more lenient on the overhead, where if it is slightly behind us, we can still scissor kick to move forward.
Yeah.
Right?
You can create that.
Right.
If you want to rotate, it needs to be in front, because you need your balance to go forward.
Guys, this is genius. So one thing when you guys are learning right now, first of all, listen to what he's saying. But second of all, one thing I'm seeing is when you demo it, your intention is on another level. And that's something we should all pay attention to, is what are you trying to do? And we can learn a lot from that. So just wait, because we have 2 more situations left, the middle and then the midcourt. And then we're gonna see how to put all of this together in a game.
Yes.
All right.
This situation is that we have built up and the opponent is so much under pressure that they can only lift a high shot to the center of the court. Like the situation is from here, that if I hit here, they have equally much or less time because I'm in the center. So if I'm angling it, I can both go all the way across in this side, I can go all the way across in this side, I can hit center and I can hit body, which gives me a lot of angles. The difficult part of this is that unless you have talked to your partner about what you're gonna do in this situation, he's a little lost because it's a little bit more obvious from the side that if I'm really under pressure in my round the head situation, that I can go forward and my partner moves out. But in this situation here...
Before you finish telling us, Matthias, let's try it and see what happens with no communication.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, yeah. Ow!
And I'm out of position. Okay? Come on. I understand now, Matthias, what no communication is. Okay, interesting. I never knew this. So when it's in the middle, you should have a plan of what you should do.
Right.
Okay, so what are the possible types of plans we can have?
The good thing, as I said, all options are open, but that's also sometimes a limitation. Because if you don't know what I'm gonna do and I'm just gonna act out of panic and just hit it somewhere, exactly this is gonna happen. You're not gonna intercept anything.
Yes.
And then people would say, why is he not intercepting? But when he has no idea where I'm hitting, it's not his fault. And that is a lot of people don't understand that when they watch it. They would say, yeah, but he's not good at the net. No, maybe he's not good at the net because his partner's not communicating and just hitting it left, right, center, so that player would have no idea where to position himself. So in this situation here, if I get the situation, I would give a call to Aylex. So I would either say, we can have like a plan of the tactical plan can be target Rashid or target whoever it is. So when you know we have a situation, then we want to exploit the weak opponent maybe.
Right.
So if the coach has told us, oh, this guy who is now in the left side of the court, he is the weakest one, then we both know that because we talked about it. So I don't need to shout, weak player. I need to just like, Aylex needs to visualize, of course he's doing what plan we have talked about.
Yes.
And that is to attack on the player who might not have as strong as a defense.
Did you guys know this? Man, this is awesome. Okay, so between you two, Coach Hakeem and Coach Rashid, which one of you is the weaker player?
You can just me, no.
Okay, so we now agree he's the weaker player.
We're going to target Rashid.
We're going to target you more in the attack, okay? So let's try one more time.
All right. Nice. So, yeah. Nice.
Okay, really good. So I can already feel the difference here. The difference is that even before you hit, I'm hunting for intention. I'm not confused.
Right.
Wow, it's good. This is amazing, guys.
Right, so let's move into the midcourt. From the midcourt and from the net, that's where you score the most points. You know how fast and furious men's double are. It's extremely difficult to see. All of a sudden, I can be at the net, which means that this side is difficult for the opponents to play. And sometimes Aylex at the net, which means that the midcourt here is almost impossible to play. So you can come in and make people a little confused with that left-right-handed. So in this case, we're showing it as a right hand, left hand. So what I want to do is actually show where we can rotate a little. So again, we have the front back. We are building up the situation, so we are getting like one of these poke push shots in the center. I'm gonna hit it hard, cross, and Aylex is taking a step out and cover. So we are actually almost in one line.
Can we show this somehow?
Yes. Badminton's a little bit like chess. It's about trying to lure your opponent into playing it where you exactly want. For instance, in this case, we have a midcourt, some sort of a midcourt rally. I'm gonna block in the backhand side in the center. So I'm inviting my opponent to try and push and see if he can move forward. So what I'm doing is that I'm playing it, and then I'm taking like a half step this side. Again, I'm turning my body, my weight, towards where I hope the shot is coming. And then I'm just gonna come in and hit it as hard cross as I can with a little bit of slice. Because if I hit it with a little bit of slice, it just goes flat and then it's gonna stop and not gonna go out. Just play one here. Yeah. It's not going out.
But the most important thing here seems like we know to do that for the shot, but
Right.
it's how to set up for that shot.
It's how to set up. It's about luring your opponent into doing this. So you can have multiple plans in the rally.
Yeah.
You need to think fast, and that's why it's more easier just to blindfoldedly just play any shot.
Right.
But that's not going to set up your partner. Setting up your partner is to put the two next shots together. So it's a chess. You put the next two shots together.
Matthias, this video felt like we had 10 videos of information. It's such a masterclass. But right now, what we're gonna do is the hardest part, challenge for you, Matthias, is we wanna put it into a game right now. So how I usually approach it is just, we have one thought of how to apply it in the game.
Right.
My biggest takeaway was just a much higher level of intention. Setting up and then attacking. And then the other person is knowing where we're going to attack. Pretty much, before the shuttles are even moving, we're pretty clear of what we're trying to do.
Right.
So maybe we just try with having more predictive intention of like hunting in for the kill.
So I think when you're practicing all these situations, the number one thing you have to do is try and get it as early as possible so you automatically get
Get it
angle.
early. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Let's do a little bit of gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing I'm gonna focus on, obviously I'm not at the level to be your partner, it's just I'm gonna try to get things higher and predict what you're trying to do and try to follow you.
Let's try and do it reverse. Let's you start at the backcourt.
Sure.
Then, because if he hit wisely, I should still be able to intercept
Okay.
and understand what he's doing. Come. Yes. Boom! I would have loved to come forward there.
That's my fault?
Yes.
Why?
Because it was the situation that we talked about. I did a cut, I did a perfect angle cut from here. I was ready, but you felt you were in a better position trying to
Right.
catch it from the net behind the body. Yeah?
Okay.
It's a good example because this is often what happens.
Yes.
So it's perfect illustration. This about after. Always have that talk like how we're having now. Of course, when it's a match, you don't have time to discuss as much. But I'm explaining Aylex. He's trying to catch something that is not his. So I'm saying, hey, this one, when it's behind you, leave it. And especially when I have built up for the position. And then we have to practice it 1,000 times before we master it.
This is a good talk. This is a talk where, especially his playing style is very set up. I need to let him set up and come for the attack.
Exactly.
Very nice. Okay, good. So my biggest takeaway from this is actually really cool. So number one is the thing everyone knows is set up for winners. We all know this. But one new learning I had that I never had before is set up for winners as partners. So before I always thought set up for my winners, but now it's set up for any winners between us.
Right,
Which
right.
is such an important thought.
It doesn't matter who scores, it doesn't matter how we score, we just want to score 21 points in each game in order to win. And who is doing it? It's a team effort in doubles, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. If you enjoy this masterclass, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. There's so much more coming, and check out Matthias's content on his channel.